Tell everyone how you got hooked up with New Japan.
WCW, of course, was very popular in the U.S., and usually things that were kind of happening in the States kind of also were popular in Japan. So NWO was super popular, so it became very popular in Japan. And we had, at the time, I guess a reciprocity worked out with New Japan and WCW, where they were having basically a little bit of a talent exchange.
Sure.
So some of the wrestlers from New Japan were coming over to WCW's tapings, and some of the wrestlers from WCW were going over to Japan. But they wanted the NWO characters over there, of course, because NWO was super hot. So Hogan and Nash and Hall, of course, weren't going to leave to go over there on the 3-week tour or whatever it may be, because they were actively doing the NWO in the U.S. So they figured, okay, NWO Sting, he's not doing that much, so we can send him over. They sent Scott over, but Scott was already, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, so he was used to that, and he went over, and then Bagwell came over, and then later Mike Rotundo, Brian Adams. So there was a staple of guys from the U.S. that were working under the guise of WCW to do the NWO. And my character, the NWO Sting, just became popular in Japan, and they just kept asking for me back every tour. Can you come back? Can you come back? And I think Eric was fine, saying, yeah, take NWO Sting again. Yeah, he can go back. So it just kind of worked out that way. And then once it got going, it became a pretty popular character.
How did you feel when the WWE accidentally used your pick on the Sting documentary rather than Sting's pick?
Yeah, that's all right. It's fine.
It was an upgrade, some would say.
Yeah,
Any memories of Craig Clippo?
Yeah, Craig was a great guy. He had a real pedigree, a real wrestling pedigree. I don't know if he went to the Olympics, but I think he was maybe an Olympian. I know he wrestled the Marines, and was a super nice guy. And he was again a group of the guys that were in WCW at the time that just never really got a chance to break out and to really. I liked his gimmick. He was good, the drill instructor style, where he would, yell and scream.
Yeah, he would.
That. So that part was good, and he was a very nice guy. I liked Craig.
So what was it like working with Paul?
Yeah, we were just talking about this. Of course, my condolences to his son and his family. I actually sent his son a message. I'm sure he doesn't know who I am, but I was fortunate enough to be in WCW when Paul was there. He not only did I wrestle him and work him, I just found a match where Clark and I worked Paul and Tony Roma.
Paul Roma.
Paul Roma, yeah.
Tony Roma's got a great steakhouse.
Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of steak.
Yeah.
So we worked a tag match with them, and actually I'm interested to see it. I'm one of the, hopefully, well, maybe not few, but I'm sure there's not that many people that have taken Paul Orndorff's pile driver, but I am one of them. He was just a great mentor for me. In WCW, he was a booker, and he gave me a lot of good, solid advice back then, and I always respected Paul. And for the man he was, he had a lot of integrity, and he was, for us young guys, we all respected Paul. And I grew up seeing him and just his physique, and he was so physically impressive, and that was something that I aspired to as well. I was always into exercise and weights, and Paul was just he was a great man, and he's going to be missed not only by his family, but by all the wrestlers. Yeah. And actually, I have to tell you, this is I don't want to say I stole it from him, but in his honor, I did a pile driver in Japan, and I did the jumping pile driver because of Paul, because that was the best pile driver I'd ever seen, and
he would get height on it.
He would jump up in the air and do it, and so I actually Tanahashi, that match we had with Tanahashi and Kenzo, I think I gave Kenzo a pile driver, and I should find that because it is a jumping pile driver right out of Paul Orndorff's.
And Kenzo was a big boy. I got to find that. Yeah.
Right out of Paul's book, and the reason why I did it was because it's an honor, to to duplicate a move. I didn't do it as justice as Paul did, but that was just an amazing move.
Have you thought, or would you be interested if anyone from AEW asked you to come in to confront Sting on TV?
You know, sometimes that's yeah. I mean, you know, that would be something that. You know,
Bear.
Nick and I talked about this. You know, it's one of those things where it's like unfinished business. You know, like they never really got a chance. I never got a chance to, you know, Sting and I could have torn the house down in Japan, you know, as a Sting NWO Sting thing, and I have no doubt about that. So, yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes you think, and maybe I would go help them. You know, maybe it's the opposite. You think I'm going to go in there and cause trouble, and maybe I help them out. You know, so anyway, there was lots of storylines that could have been done with Sting and I, and you know, unfortunately, we just never got a chance to do it. But I'm retired.
Besides the occasional Japan return.
Yeah, other than Japan, and that's more for the visit than it is to get in the ring. But yeah, I mean, I hung up the boots.
If you're familiar with Brian Cage, he thinks that you guys would have a good match.
Yeah, I saw him. He's a great physique on that guy. He's in A&E, right? Isn't he?
AEW, yeah.
AEW, yeah. He looks very physical.
Yeah.
And great body. So he's somebody, if he's athletic, which he appears to be, he looks good. Has a bright future.